Hi, I'm Krista Johnson. This is Journey. We're going to do a little riding video today. The main thing I've been helping him with is emotional collection, because he doesn't have a lot of self-confidence and he doesn't have a lot of knowledge on working his way through his emotions when he gets emotional. He's a pretty spirited horse. He's a pretty sensitive horse. He's had some pretty good training, like he knows some things, so it's not that he's uneducated. Most of the work I've been doing with it is getting him to think his way through pressure instead of get emotional and react. So that's been the biggest part, and when he gets emotional, I don't get worried about it. I help him work through it, and how I help him work through it is through a hindquarter yield or a drift primarily. So I'm either going to be yielding his hip or I'm going to be getting him to yield forward and sideways. That will help him physically relax, which is going to help his emotions come down. So sometimes the worst thing we can do when they're emotional is just to let them run forward or be on a straight line or a big circle. Like they can kind of do that forever and stay emotional the whole time. So if he gets that way during this ride, you'll kind of see me get in his way. But he's getting to that point to where he's getting more emotionally collected. He's starting to have better self-carriage. I really like to see his eye either be level or below his wither. It didn't start out that way. He was pretty high-headed the majority of the time when he came here, but we'll get started. I'm going to start just at the walk. We can get going here, Journey. So one of the things that he's had trouble with when he showed up here is just lack of forward. Ask him to go forward there. Let's see if we can just try to walk around. We're going to use half the arena today. We typically use the whole arena, but just so we can get a better camera angle today, we're going to try to use half. That might take him a minute to adjust to the new pattern there. I like how he's walking pretty relaxed here now that we're going. I want him to kind of just stay between my reins and my legs. I don't want him thinking, look out the windows, it's spook. That's none of his business that's out there, so I'm going to yield his hindquarters. And yield his hindquarters. I want him going forward into that. When I feel him yielding better and getting more forward and more relaxed, I'm going to let him out of that. Looking out the window there, I'm going to remind him that's none of his business. This hindquarter yield can really help them get more connected, more relaxed, more emotionally collected, more focused. I'm going to use that tool. He's not used to the camera being here either, so we'll let him look around. I just climbed up on him. We haven't done any riding yet. I just warmed him up on the ground. Tried out our pre-ride checks, which he checked out pretty good. So if he has a problem with just simply walking on this pattern, that's where I'll start using my yields to help him relax and get focused again. But if he can enjoy and accept this nice and easy ride and stay focused, relaxed, and connected with me, then I'm going to be quiet because he's doing what I asked. So since he's primarily used as a trail horse, this will apply on the trail because I want him to stay between my reins and my legs. He's still looking at the camera there. You're okay, buddy. I want him to stay between my reins and my legs, and if he's going the direction and the gait and the tempo that I'm wanting him to do, I'm just going to be quiet and enjoy the ride. Same thing in here on this simple little follow the rail pattern. Follow the rail and follow the trail is pretty much the same exercise. One's just in the arena and one's outside. Now I'm going to see if we can bump it up to the trot because he's doing pretty good at the walk now that he's had a chance to look around. I'm going to ask him to go up into the trot. I'm going to think trot, think 2 beats, sit up a little straighter, squeeze my legs a little bit. Trot. See if he can keep it together. Very nice. When he's nice and relaxed, staying between my reins and my legs, I'm going to get quiet and just enjoy the ride. There he's missing our turn. Not a big deal. So whenever something's going well that you're working with your horse and you're wanting to progress, 2 ways to test it out is to either speed it up or add more energy. See if they can still maintain their responsibility. So since as soon as I speed this up to the trot, you can see that he lost a little bit of his ability to stay between my reins and my legs with that turn. He's getting a little high-headed a little bit here and there, but he's at least trying to come back down without me having to get in his way a lot. So I want to make it easy for him when he's doing the right thing, but sometimes these emotional horses can kind of not recognize the easy and not recognize the peace because they're just so kind of disturbed in the moment with their emotions and their thoughts. So that's where we kind of have to get in their way using some of those yields. Here I'm using a little bit of that drift yield to get them to relax, get in their way a little bit. And it doesn't mean you have to get after them or be mean, it just means use one of your yields, use some of your aids to get in their way to cause, it's that little bit of pressure. Doesn't have to be a lot. And then when they relax into what you're looking for, get real quiet again. Don't make them yield as much, but even if we're just going forward along the rail, if he's yielding relaxed and not sucking back, we're yielding forward, which has been a hard one for him. He tends to want to suck back a lot. So here I'm just looking for some purity of gait, being able to maintain the pattern and be relaxed. She's doing pretty good, but I want to see him commit a little bit more. There he's kind of leaning on my right leg and right rein. But I like when I'm correcting him that he's not getting more worried, and that was a big thing for him. It still can be sometimes, like he'd get even more emotional when I go to correct him. And when you're testing out your pre-ride checks on the ground, you can't correct them without your horse being emotional. That's a good sign that they're not quite ready to ride yet. Because I want them to think, oh, that wasn't the right answer, and try another answer, not get super worried and super reactive and kind of have that oh no emotional reaction. I just want them to be like, oh, that's not what you're looking for. Let me try something else. So I like how he's got, well, until I said that anyways, he read my mind, that he had a pretty good purity of gait and tempo in his feet. Until he stopped there, he read my mind that I was going to say that, I think, but I like how he's got that purity of gait and that nice rhythm in his feet. I'm just looking for that little bit more of commitment, kind of relaxing his top line and kind of staying on this pattern without me having to direct him as much. Which I'm not having to do a whole lot up here, but I am having to do a little bit. But I want to see him start to take that responsibility that, oh, she just wants me to trot this half arena sized pattern and be relaxed. I want him to make a mental commitment. That's nice. There I'm going to ask him to walk. I'm going to think, not stop, but I want to think 4 beats, sitting up a little bit more and maybe back a little bit more, but not so much that I want him to think stop. And he's thinking stop. I want him to keep walking. And this may not look like we've been riding for very long, but for him, I ask him to drift. We're right by the camera, so he gets a little, not nervous, but he's trying to be mindful of Michaela's space there, which I appreciate that he's not trying to run her over. So that's what's going on with that little thing there. But I don't want him looking out the window like that. I'll just remind him that that's none of his business. If he's not going to stay relaxed on this pattern, that's where I'm going to start getting in his way a little bit more. So I might ask him to yield his hip. Go forward. Yield his hip. Go forward. Go forward. Yield his hip. That's the fun part when you start teaching horses that to line up at the mounting block to dismount and not just to mount. Then they start, when they think they're done with their ride, they try to take you there. It's fun. That's where I'll just say, hey, I'm not asking you to go there. And he might be thinking that. I don't think he's trying to be bad. He's just thinking, well, maybe she means over here by the mounting block. So I like how he's looking for different answers Him shaking his head like that's actually a sign of relaxation too, so I don't mind that. I'll let him know that I wasn't thinking stop by the mounting block this time. But I like how he is thinking and looking for different answers. So I'm just going to make this uncomfortable and let him know, hey, that's not what I'm looking for. That's why I'm trying to steer you away here. I'm going to pet him. I'm not mad at him. He was actually honestly trying to help me out there. I don't think it was, hey, I don't want to be ridden, get off. I don't get that feel from it at all. He's actually a really, really sweet horse. I really feel like he tries to do the right thing. But sometimes his horse instincts just kind of get in the way and his emotions take over. And that's what he's here working on. He's gotten so much better. So we went the other direction, so now we got to go to the right a little bit. And I ask him to trot. See if we can get the same thing here. Get a little bit of purity of gait. Nice relaxed trot. He's actually a really lovely ride when he relaxes into this trot. Kind of jealous actually. I wish my horse trotted like this. Let's see if we can get him to understand the pattern. You know, again, it's different. We've been practicing around the whole arena. Horses are very contextual and they're very good about memorizing patterns. So if you practice something consistently, they're really good about picking up on it. But if you switch it a little bit, it can take them a little bit to be like, oh, we're doing this now. And try not to get mad at them about it. Just no big deal. Adjust them. That's another test. Can you adjust them from what you normally do or what you've been practicing on recently? Have them not get worried. But I like how he's coming in out of the gate pretty relaxed. I'm not having to yield him a whole lot here. He's just kind of getting high-headed when we get towards the camera. He's just checking out Michaela and she's over there. But he's not, you know, doing anything silly. He's not trying to spook or completely lose sight of me up here, what his responsibility is there. So I'm going to ask him to walk. That feels so nice. I'm super happy with how he's really shaping up into that trot, and I want to keep this a nice short ride. Because in the beginning it would take, I don't know, probably 45 minutes to an hour sometimes just to get him to go through his pre-ride checks and actually pass. So I could ride him and then we'd have, you know, a little bit of ride here in the arena and then some out on the trail. So it'd be a pretty long ride, but now that he's getting better about all of these things that we've been learning, I want to let him know, hey, good job. You don't have to work for 3 hours today or however long it might take. You did your job. You improved on everything we've been working on. You can't ask for better than that. And that's where I'm going to keep it short and sweet and let him know, yeah, that was the right answer. That's what I was looking for. Good job. So I think we're going to call it there. I might just cool him out, but I'm super happy with the look on his face there. You can see in his eyes that he's mentally processing. He's focused on me and what we just did, and he's relaxed. And I'm just so thrilled to see the changes in him, and I can't tell you how much of a nicer, smoother ride it is for me up here when he is relaxed. Thanks for joining us.